Do you remember years ago when the Celestine Prophecy book first came out? And it began all the discussion about law of attraction. It was an incredible time that assisted so many people in awakening to the changes in consciousness, the changes on earth, and so on. Since then, a lot of us have integrated and come a long way regarding integrating more of our eternal knowingness, more of our eternal, say, awareness of the changes that are currently taking place on earth. And one of the things that has been becoming more and more clear to me regarding how we manifest what our heart desires is by focusing on the end result instead of the process. This is something that I am still mastering. I am still integrating and still, say, putting forth this, focus on the end result instead of the process. I have to say that it's not easy to be able to focus on continually, with the amount of things we have going on in our lives, the continual change going on in the collective world, to have that, say, laser-like focus on the end result instead of getting caught up in the everyday process of how are we going to reach this end result. There's really, from what I'm seeing and the information that I'm getting, there's not too much that we can do about this. If we focus too much on the process, in a way, we get distracted from the end result. We may lose our focus from what we're essentially want to experience and what we wish to live in and so on. And I'll give some examples here in a second. But the main thing is, it's the more that we get caught up in the process of what we have going on in our lives, how we are going to make the money to do what we wish to do, how is peace going to manifest on earth with all these other things that are going on over here and over there and over there and so on. The people have talked about this in the past, many people, to focus on what you wish to experience and leave the rest. The stepping stones will show themselves and the process will work its way out for you to experience what you truly wish to experience. But again, it's up to us to focus on that end result. So the example of this would be for us to be focusing on peace on earth by seeing people around the earth working together, sharing more resources together, working together in a way that doesn't require, say, power over others, people releasing those programs of power over others, releasing all of the different things that are going on in the world currently into a more peaceful environment to where, you could see that there's no more hunger on the planet. You can see that people are sharing more from country to country. Essentially, the borders of different countries dissolving to where there's free exchange and people working together to a greater degree. Again, that's the end result for which we are perceiving. Of course, with the amount of craziness in the world right now, that is, hard to comprehend. It's hard to even conceive that we would be able to experience that on earth at some point. But this is the information I've been getting from the upstairs and my own I am presence and so on. It's imperative now more than ever for us to focus on the end result for which we wish to experience. Either that is more financial abundance. If we wish to experience financial abundance, we need to focus on already having that financial abundance now. See it that it already exists here in this reality, but we say that it's down the road. It's like down the road from your street, from where you currently live. It already exists. We just haven't walked down the street to experience it yet. In the same way as peace on earth, the ending of starvation and hunger on the planet, it all has to do with us focusing on the end result. Our minds is in a lot of different ways, our mental mind is not set up in a way to truly embrace that way of comprehending information. It's more set up on, okay, what do I need to do now? What's the process? Setting up a goal and so on, which is necessary, but we get caught up in that process so much that we lose sight of the end, the end goal, or what we truly are working towards, what we truly wish to experience. And so those are the main things that I want to point out here is in your own life, if you view things on a percentage scale from 0 to 100, for example, how much of your daily life processing are you truly focusing on the end result? How much are you focusing in your meditation practice of already seeing peace on earth, of already seeing people in abundance and sharing taking place, instead of asking, again, someone or something to bring peace into this existence, to bring more abundance into this reality, instead of actually focusing and seeing that it's already here. This is all part of us moving more into our self-empowerment, not only individually, but us as a collective, and how we are going to work together in the coming time of, you could say, the new earth and so on. It all has to do with what and how we process things within our perceptions. Our perceptions are so much more powerful than we give ourselves credit for. We are creating and or limiting our integration and abundance in many different ways through simply our focus and what we are seeing, what is possible and what is not possible. There's a lot of people that, if you're still watching this video, might be saying, oh, that's not possible. This is not possible. Peace on earth is not possible, or this is not possible, and so on. But again, if we see that it's not possible, of course, we're creating our own restrictions through that perception. It's up to us to release these perceptions and therefore integrate our true power of manifestation. The more of us that are able to, as I was describing, the scale from 0 to 100, if we're moving from maybe focusing on this end result less than 10% of the time in our daily lives, and we move this 10% focus up to 50 or 60%, for example, not even 100%, it's going to make a dramatic difference in the energetics of how we are manifesting peace on earth. If we are seeing peace, we're essentially being more of that energy of peace, which then assists that peace in manifesting that much faster. It's the same thing with abundance. If we're seeing the end result of that abundance already in existence, it's going to be much easier for us to experience that abundance instead of only focusing on it less than 10%. If we're focusing on it 50 to 60%, for example, or even more, it's going to bring that manifestation of whatever we're focusing on into existence that much faster. So we, as individual creators here on earth, have the ability to have an influence on how fast we move into more abundance, how fast we move into more peaceful environment on earth, and so on. So see in your daily lives not to necessarily be asking for someone or something, our friends or extraterrestrial friends or whatever being in the form that you perceive for assistance in these things, but we step into our creator roles of actually how we are manifesting things within this reality and start taking more control and also stepping into our shoes of our manifesting abilities to a greater degree. And one of the main things that is going to assist with that is for us to be focusing on the end result more than we are now, much more than we are now. So like I said, it's a work in progress for me, myself, integrating more abundance into my own life and being able to continually write a new program within my mind to be focusing more on the end result instead of the continuous processing of, I don't know how we are going to bridge this gap between which, for which I see. So those are the main things for this one, is that continually be looking at how much you are focusing on the end result. If you'd like additional information, please visit my website, joe-weaver.com, and remember to please like, subscribe, and share the video.